So we have a new update in that one server which is 1.6.64, and to be honest this is a long patch which includes Faramis revamp and lot more updates on other heroes. First is a revamp on Faramis. Now they have altered his passive, so the skills that are only hitting the enemy will create the soul fragments. So hereafter the minions will no longer give you the soul fragments, but instead they increased the lifesteal that he gained from his passive. And now by using his first skill you can able to pass through any obstacles, which means you can able to fly through the wall just like Farsa. You can also actively leave the shadow state in order to pull the enemy towards you whenever you want. But the biggest change is all about his ultimate. Instead of spawning from death, now he will create a mirror of yourself in a spectrate mode, which means his ultimate can able to give you some extra HP for a limited amount of time. If you're taken enough damage, you will be back to your form. If not, you will be back to your form in few seconds. On comparing to his old skills, this revamp is really good on him. Next is a buff on Ling. Now they have adjusted the Ling's passive. Instead of having 15% of critic chance, now he will double the critic chance from all the sources, which means the critic chance can go up to 30%, double the amount of what he already had. And for his first skill, now they have reduced the energy cost by 5 points, but to compensate that, now they have increased the cooldown of his first skill. The base damage of his second skill is increased by 70 points in the early game and 95 points in the late game, which is a big buff. Due to the increase in cooldown of his first skill, now they have added a new effect on his ultimate. Whenever you collect your blade, the cooldown of your first skill will reduce by 4 seconds and 4 seconds for each blade. So after your ultimate, no doubt you will have your first skill. Next is the adjustment on Melissa. The extra damage that she deals from her passive is reduced by 25%, but also they added a new effect in her passive where she can able to deal increased damage to the creeps. The damage scaling of her second skill is adjusted now, and if you are using your ult, the shield will move along with you one time if you move away from your shield, which is a good thing because now you can able to adjust your position with this buff. Next is a buff on Guinevere. Now they have added a new effect on her passive where you will leave the mark on the enemy when you using your skills. This marks can charge up to 3, and if it is fully charged, you can knock the enemy by using your ultimate. Yeah, usually you only knock the enemy by using your second skill, but now if you marked the enemy with 3 marks, you can able to knock up the enemy just by using your ultimate, which is a pretty good buff to be honest. Next is a buff on wanwan. Her physical attack growth is increased by 3 points now, but because of that, the damage per hit on weakness is reduced from 15 to 12% now, and the duration of her ultimate is 2.5 seconds now, which is similar to the official server. Next is a nerf on Valentina. The extra experience and the lifesteal that she gained from her passive is lower now, but to compensate that, the damage of her first skill is increased by 50 points, especially in the early game. Next is a buff on Johnson. Developers are now focusing on side lane Johnson, so now they have adjusted the damage calculation of his first skill and reduced the maximum of stack from 5 to 3 from his second skill. And also they added a new effect to his second skill where the damage dealt to the creeps will be increased by 50%. Are you excited for the XP lane Johnson? Next is a nerf on Aulus. As he dominating the games as a hyper in the official server, developers decided to reduce his base physical attack by 9 points. I would say this nerf is essential one. Next is a buff on Floryn. The HP regain from her first skill is increased by 25 points, especially in the early game, and also the HP regain of her ultimate is increased by 50 points, especially in the late game. So basically they have increased her healing potential. Next is a nerf on Lancelot. The damage of his second skill is reduced by 25 points in the early game and 50 points in the late game. Do you think this nerf is essential? Next is a buff on Martis. They are increasing the damage of the enhanced basic attack that he gained after using his second skill. I don't even know why Martis even need a buff. Next is a nerf on Belerick. Belerick is slightly overperforming due to the buff that they gave in the last patch. Because of that, in the current patch, they are reducing his base HP and the HP growth as well. Along with that, the duration of his ultimate is also reduced from 2 to 1 seconds now. But still, on comparing to the official server, it's still a buff on Belerick. Next is a buff on Alpha. The width of his ultimate is wider compared to before. So now you can cover large large area when you are using your ult. Next is a buff on Minotaur. In order to make him stronger in the non-enraged state, they are giving buff to his first skill where the basic attack after you cast a skill will deal extra damage for the next 3 seconds. This is really a good buff on Minotaur. Next is a buff on Atlas. Now your ultimate will deal extra magic damage to the enemy. Next is a buff on Masha. Now they have fixed the bug that she had in her first skill, and now her second skill will deal damage to the minions. So what do you think about this update? Are you excited for the new hero savior? Do let me know what you guys think in the comment section. See you until the next video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.